Hey HappiCrew, HappiDaze here. In today's video, we are doing Day 3 and Day 4 of Grand Party matches. So unfortunately for Day 4, I was hoping to record the first match. It was an awesome match against a Dex Kaido GP leader. It was really close, really down to the wire. Had to take 2 bursts in round number 2 and 1 in round number 3, but unfortunately, I forgot to hit record. So unfortunately, it's only going to be 5 fights today. 3 from day number 3, 2 from day number 4. Stay tuned for the second fight of day number 4. It was quite a doozy, so make sure you check out that video and see how close I came to just not getting the full victories yet. So that being said, let's go ahead and get right into the matches and see if we can get to 12 out of 12 for day number 3 and day number 4. Alright, so for the first match of the day, we are sticking with the Int Luffy captain here. Let's go ahead and take on just the middle team here. We had some pretty crazy matches the first 2 days in terms of burst captains. We'll get back to some burst captains, don't worry. But I just want to see how this Int Luffy is, if he's viable still with this season, even though the rule sets don't really favor him. He only gets his 2 bursts. No deductions, so that's of course good, but no additions to his burst. So let's go ahead and use him, see what happens. Of course, I have type advantage here, so I'm going to have my Shunt team go against their Dex team. Jack does the HP cut, and then Luffy and Kuma basically just handle the rest, taking everyone out. Because he has Dalton as his burst captain, he does maybe 500 damage, really nothing there. Nothing to really worry too much about, so it should be a pretty simple, straightforward match to get through. That Kizaru hit was actually pretty nuts, and that's why it's always a menace if you have to take on that Kizaru as a GP leader, just what you can do with the special bind, the paralysis, and that stuff is just crazy. Type advantage for match number 1 makes it real easy to win. We got our burst ready to go. We have type advantage for match number 2 with our Dex team here. So yeah, we're just going to kind of plug through here. Of course, the Smoothie can do some special bind, which is a pain to deal with. You have cross skills, you can do some of that as well. So yeah, we're just going to go ahead and kind of get through this pretty quickly. Like I said, to save our burst so when it's closer to the end of the match. That way, when our heavy hitters of Kaido, Big Mom, and Ace go, they can just pretty much take out everyone who's left on the field here. As you can see at this point, there's really nothing they can do. Bizarro's just going to give them half stats, which is awesome. Love to see that. Of course, because we have type advantage, any shots that we take are severely reduced on top of that. So, yeah, you can see we just absolutely melt through these guys. Make it really easy to get that first win of the day, which is always good for day number 3. You like to get that. It starts getting a little bit crazier as you get towards the higher win count. But there we go. First win of the day. Love to see it. So let's go ahead and get into match number 2 of day number 3. So for match number 2, I did switch back to Sabo as the leader, so he does get the burst for this season. Again, we have some burst leaders here. Just going to go ahead and take on the Int Luffy here. And the reason I just want to do this is because I think I have a pretty good chance with the 4 specials of the Sabo. He basically will allow a bunch of units to get CT speed reduction, some haste. He does some damage too, but nothing kind of too crazy. So that's the real key here, is to get our guys to go really quick. So as long as we can get our our strength team here to go really quickly, we should be able to take out pretty much any team without too much problems. Jack is always crazy with his cooldown reduction, so he always gets off really quick. Gets that 50% HP cut. Now, unfortunately, we don't get our special charged unless we take damage. So if we're not taking damage from the enemy, our special's not getting charged. That's kind of the downside there. And of course, they get their special gauge charged by taking damage for that Int Luffy. So, gonna eat a burst for match number 2, which is why I changed the team I was using for match number 2 to kind of be the driven powerhouse team. I find that the bulkiness of that team is really good for taking 2 bursts. And if we can take 2 bursts in match number 2, that means that we can go into the last match with X number of additional bursts on our side. We'll definitely get the burst gauge charge for the second match with the 2 shots that we'll be taking from the Int Luffy special, hopefully. So yeah, nothing kind of too crazy there. I am using this Nami, so I haven't really used this Nami too much, but I see everyone kind of use her. And her reduction that she does is kind of insane. So I was like, you know what, let's give it a try and see how she is. Now, granted, I knew this team was just being created just to take damage and just basically eat the bursts that are going to go there. But still, I have to do some damage, right? Because I want to be able to get that burst gauge charged. So the idea here was that Sabo can help take out people. The sword unit here can just help do the confusion to kind of reduce them from doing their specials and let some of my guys go get their specials ready to go. Again, just skipping because I want to be able to take that burst and not have to deal with a burst going into the final match where I have my kind of super OP. Oh, Yeah, never mind. The skip was able to do that. I thought for sure that I would take that second burst, but I guess I didn't trigger the enough damage to get that second burst. So, yeah, hey, we don't have to do a second match, so we'll definitely take that. Wrap up fight number 2 of day 3. So let's get into the final match of day number 3 and see what we got. So for the final match of day number 3, again, we're going to stick with the Sabo leader captain there, same teams we used in the previous fight. I could have fought Doll there. Ideally, if it's in the later days, I would have fought her because she's not a burst captain. But like, I'm not too scared at all about the Luffy captain here. Of course, he gets his burst gauge charged by doing damage. So yeah, we'll definitely give him more than enough damage to get here. I'm just switching around my teams a little bit here. I want to be able to have my strength team go second, take out his dex team, just to, again, make sure that he really can't get the special off. So with this first team, the idea here is to go as quick as I can, stop his guys from getting off, and that way he doesn't charge his burst gauge. And because I have type advantage in battle number 2, that means that basically he won't be able to get his burst gauge used at all. Now, if I was fighting teams like this, I probably should have switched the Sabo unit to be maybe the Roger Later Kaban V2. They do additional damage outside of the 7,000 fixed damage with their burst leader ability to side team, so it made these fights a little bit easier. But, you know, it is what it is sometimes. So, here we go. This int team, or I should say, it's kind of like a powerhouse-driven team. Really just goes kind of insane. Of course, the Raizu and the Shinobu in the back you gotta always look out for, but now that Kuma's gone, yeah, we have to deal with Luffy still, which is just a little bit of a pain to deal with, but at this point, like, there's really nothing they can do to really scare us. Hopefully we can just kill them before they get a lot of damage done. So there you go. Like, at this point, his burst gauge is probably only half full. We go into the second match with type advantage. Of course, I love this buggy unit. He's probably my favorite strength unit that I have on this team. A lot of people use the Christmas Uta as opposed to the buggy for the CT reduction, but like, his debuff to slashers and dex is nuts. So yeah, I just love to use this buggy instead of the Uta. And I think it's a negative, I want to say it's -9, a -8 or 9 to the CT for dex and slasher. So it's a huge debuff. And basically, once Jack goes, once Luffy goes, we'll be in an absolutely awesome state. Now, because we didn't take hardly any damage on the last fight, our burst gauge isn't charged, right? So we're probably not going to be able to use it, and we'll see. Maybe Pell might kick that up. Okay, so Pell did use it. Yeah, we use our burst there. It will just move everyone to the top, give us that CT reduction, and yeah, at that point, once you have Jack, Luffy, and Kuma go, like, no team is going to be able to stand up to that. So yeah, it's going to be a pretty easy victory here. Again, they won't be able to use even a single one of their burst captain specials, which is exactly how you want to do it, minimize that risk of dying. So, yep, there you go. Won the second fight of battle number 3 to give us the third victory of the day, bring us to 9 out of 9 for the day, which is awesome. Again, we don't have the video for the first fight of the last day. Apologies. It was a really good video, and I'm really kind of upset that I didn't get that. And this is just a note here. When you're done for the day, because I record these obviously on different days, just make sure when you're done for the day, you change your captain at the end of the match, just to make it easier for everyone to have to fight and not have to deal with it. So that being said, let's get into what will be the second battle of day 4 and see if we can keep it going. Try to get 12 out of 12. All right, so going into this battle, we did switch our captain to the Roger Really Gaban V2. I made a stupid decision here, maybe not, but basically I said, you know what, the Uta here doesn't have a burst ability, so let me get my team out here. I'll have my int team go first. Hopefully we can just, with the cooldown, and getting these guys to go first, we'll take out that strength team, and then it's kind of easy peasy from that point on. Probably should have took on that team at the very top with the Sai Luffy. Again, the Roger Legban V2 burst does additional damage on top of the 7,006 damage to Sai int teams. Would have probably made this a lot less risky, even though I would have had to take the risk of taking the burst from that Luffy captain. But that being said, once Uta did her special here, with the Pika on this team too, that was kind of the real killer there. That Pika just gives so much defense that it just makes sure that basically, and the half stats too, and the shield, that you're basically going to have a hard time killing these guys, right? And that's exactly what you'll see will happen. Once Kuma goes, once Luffy goes, like, he just absolutely dominates. And unlike the Sabo, who gets their special burst gauge charge by taking damage, to get the burst gauge charge for these guys, you have to actually give damage. So, should I have saved the special here, or should I use it? At this point, it was probably not relevant either way. We were going to lose either way, so that was kind of a stupid move on my part. And I thought maybe I might luck out, maybe Smoker can come out, do some special bind, Yamato can obviously do her death hit, right, but she's still pretty far, so unfortunately, yeah, it just didn't look like it would be a good situation for me to come out with the victory on this one. So at this point, again, Pika's going again, giving him more shields. Our main damage dealers are dead in the Luffy and the S-Hawk and the Roger Gabon, so there's literally nothing we can do at that point except take the L. So of course at this point I'm kind of freaking out because stupidly I didn't change the team that I have for Dex. I had it in the previous videos because I was facing a bunch of quick teams, so it made sense to just keep that Dex team there. So I knew that if I put that team in the middle slot, they would probably almost 100% die there. So I took a Hail Mary, was hoping that it wouldn't be a quick team in the middle section here, and hope that with at least one Roger Ligabon special, I'd be able to kind of get through there. Hoping that there was a lot of int or side units on the team, because again, they can do the 7,000 fixed damage and the extra damage as well. So luckily for us, we got the HP cut from Jack here. I'm going to use it right away because I'm super scared of dying. So we get the damage to defense, 7,000 hit, and then Kuma just comes out, right, and just takes out literally their whole front bench, which is why if you're facing like int or side teams, like this Roger Ligabon is just nuts for what he can do. And at that point, I'm feeling pretty good. There's nothing they can do here to really, stop me. And like I said, Uta doesn't have a burst herself, like outside of 500 fixed damage. So I'm not worried at all about the burst from Uta there. So now, of course, I'm happy. We're back to 1-1, but I gotta rely on this quick team at the end to kind of get, the Dex team at the end to get me through here. Now, I already knew that the Strength team was there, so I knew that it wasn't going to be a type disadvantage team, so that was kind of the advantage on my side. I do have the Pizarro and the Samon Wolf on here, so obviously they give just a ton of defensive capabilities to the team. Ace can do damage, Big Mom can do damage, and Lucci can do damage. And yeah, we took the burst there. So really my focus here was to try to kill Otama as quick as possible to kind of avoid the heals, and then keep healing up and get into a heal off, and then kill the Nami and Karina who do the special reverse. I ideally hate facing the V1 Roger Gabon just because, if you do a lot of hits to them, like their special once they get super special is pretty nuts in terms of what it can do. So here I've already used my burst. You can see a lot of people are at half damage there. I did manage to knock out the Otama there, which was perfect. That was kind of the best case scenario. Unfortunately for me, it would have been better if the Pell unit hit anyone except that Roger Gabon, because he pretty much basically charged their burst for them. And that Luffy is the strength Luffy there, who of course has type advantage, which is why it just absolutely decimated us. So at this point, like, I am super worried. I don't think I'm going to be able to pull this off. Obviously, if Kaido can go, that's a huge win. But I was worried that the Nami would reverse special. But as you can see, they just didn't have their special ready, which is kind of the one thing that saved me there. But yeah, that Roger Gabon is just nuts, and that revive of the Luffy too has just been absolutely crazy. So at this point, I'm just praying that I can get Sanji or someone to go to be able to kind of stop their teams from going. Sanwan Wolf doesn't really do much. He obviously just gives the provoke on himself. But yeah, the hit there from Sanji kind of helps steal stuff, but I'm worried here. If I take another shot from Luffy, I'm dead. But luckily for us, we had some RNG luck there. Lucci came in, was able to take out Luffy, and this was kind of my mistake. I really should have changed that last team to a much better team, but I was just lazy and didn't change teams, and almost cost me getting the full wins for the season. But there we go. We were able to get up to 11 out of 12 wins. Let's get to the final match of the day and see what happens. All right, so for the final match of the day, we are switching back to Sabo. And luckily for us, thank you to all these guys here who set their captains as not burst captains at the end of the day. Please, guys, do it. Help everyone get to 15 wins. Community strategy for the win. So yeah, at this point, like, there's really nothing scary. It's an auto-gen team. None of these guys are going to be able to take us down, so I'm happy here. Of course, we probably won't get our special even charge because we're not going to take that much damage from the 2 battles. So yeah, this should be a pretty quick way to win and get to 12 out of 12, which is perfect. Again, the final day tomorrow or today when you're watching this video is always a RNG fest, right? You can't see anything except who the leaders are. You don't know if you're going to get burst captains or not. You don't know what teams are hidden there. So there's a lot of RNG on that last day. So just help everyone out. Make sure you change your leader at the end of the day. Just auto-edit your teams. That'll just make it really easy for people to go in and get the victories for the day. So you can see the strength team kind of mopped up everyone there. Luffy kind of helped destroy everyone with Kuma. And going into Battle 2, again, nothing to worry about here. It's a completely auto-gen team. So at this point, we can pretty much just skip and get the auto victory there. So that will bring us to 12 out of 12. You love to see that. we're just going to wait to see if we can kill just a couple of these guys with the special, just to be sure. I mean, most of the time you're pretty positive that you're not going to lose these cases, but sometimes some really weird RNG stuff happens. So let's just let one of our specials kind of get off here. And then we'll go ahead and skip the rest of the battle just because there won't be much benefit to just watching everything here. So yeah, at this point, as Hawk goes, there's literally nothing they can do. We can just go ahead and skip the rest of this battle. If we really wanted to wait, once the Luffy went and the Yamato went, like, it would have been over anyway. So yeah, that gave us to our perfect streak is alive all the way through day 4. Let's see what happens tomorrow on day 5. Again, day 5 is all about finding RNG, playing it safe, and not going too crazy. I'll probably still keep Sabo as a captain, though we may see what happens depending on what burst captains we have to face. If there's like a Sai Luffy, for example, we might hop over to the Roger League Bond B2 and just kind of see what goes from there. So thank you guys so much for watching. That is going to wrap up the video for today. Let me know how your Grand Party is going so far. Have you had any kind of curveballs in terms of burst leaders that you've been seeing, or anything that is kind of shocking? Just definitely let me know. And yeah, don't forget, there's one thing that you want to make sure you do at the end of every Grand Party day, so I'm going to just quickly do that. Alright, so we'll go to setup real quick, and we'll just auto-edit our teams. Again, just pick someone who's a non-burst captain, just to make it a little bit easier for people. So, for example, let's just choose, I don't know, the Katakuri and the Sweet Generals there. Ooh, that's actually still pretty crazy. I'm just going to change it one more time, sorry. Those teams were a little... still a little crazy. I mean, obviously I don't have to face the burst there, but I just want to make it a little bit better. Let's see with Izo. That's a little bit better. Still have a pretty crazy slasher team. Let me just... Sorry, guys. I'm trying to find a good captain where it's not too crazy. Yeah, this is much better. Yeah, this is much better. This will be an easy win for people. Yeah, so we're going to go ahead and stick with Ace here as the captain. Let everyone, hopefully, who's fighting me get the max wins. Hopefully get to 15 wins using... a battle against me if you do see me in the list. So thank you guys again so much for watching. Change your leader at the end of the day. Help everyone get to 15 wins, and hopefully you'll see a video either tonight or tomorrow with how day 5 went, and we'll see if we were able to get the full rewards or if we didn't. Until next time, as always, be kind to each other. Thanks.